The gavel slammed down like a thunderclap in my chest, but it was his voice that echoed louder. Jordan Hale, my shadow, my nemesis, dissecting my argument with surgical precision right there in front of Professor Langley's piercing stare. Mr. Rivera, if that's your best shot at justice, then the scales are tipped against you before the trial even begins, he said, his lips curling into that infuriating half-smile, eyes holding mine just a beat too long, like he was daring me to crack. I wanted to hate him for it, for turning every debate into a battlefield where I always left feeling exposed. But damn if that look didn't make my pulse stutter, whispering questions I had no right to ask. I'd come to Harvard Law expecting cutthroat competition, the kind that forged legends out of late-night crammers and caffeine addicts. Boston's crisp fall air had welcomed me with open arms that first September, leaves turning crimson like warnings I ignored. My name's Alex Rivera, son of Mexican immigrants who scrubbed floors in Chicago to send me here, their American dream wrapped in a leather-bound satchel of expectations. Law school wasn't just ambition. It was survival, a way to prove I belonged in rooms like this oak-paneled lecture hall, where suits cost more than my mom's yearly rent. But Jordan? He was the glitch in the system, the golden boy from some old-money Connecticut family, with cheekbones that could cut glass and a confidence that bordered on arrogance. We'd clashed from orientation, his barbs sharp as the frost on the Charles River, mine fueled by a fire I couldn't name. That day, as the class filed out buzzing about the mock trial, I lingered, packing my notes with deliberate slowness. He was still there, leaning against the podium, chatting with a cluster of admirers, mostly straight-laced types who hung on his every word like it was gospel. I hated how easy it was for him, how he commanded space without trying. Our eyes met again across the emptying room, and there it was, that look. Not triumph, not mockery, but something softer, like he saw the cracks in my armor and chose not to strike. It unnerved me, made my skin prickle under my button-down. Why? Why did he waste that gaze on me, the guy he'd just publicly eviscerated? I bolted for the door, the weight of unspoken things pressing on my ribs. Outside, the quad was alive with students hurrying to seminars or coffee runs, the spires of Memorial Church piercing a sky too blue for my mood. My phone buzzed, Mom, checking in with her usual mix of pride and worry. "Mijo, you eating? Don't let those fancy kids forget who you are." I texted back a quick reassurance, but her words stuck. Who was I here? The queer kid from the South Side, out since 16 but still scanning rooms for safe exits? Or the future litigator, armored against the world's judgments? Friendship had been my armor once. Back in undergrad at Northwestern, before law school's meat grinder, I'd had a crew. Mia, the fierce lesbian activist who dragged me to pride rallies. Theo, our token straight ally with a laugh like summer thunder. And then there was Lucas, my first real heartbreak, the one who'd ghosted after his family found out. We'd bonded over late-night study sessions, trading stories of coming out in conservative homes. But law school stripped that away, leaving rivals in its wake. Jordan reminded me of Lucas sometimes, the easy charm, the way he'd disarm you with a question instead of a fist. But Jordan was different, sharper, like he'd been honed on privilege I could only envy. I ducked into the student lounge, a cavernous space with mismatched couches and vending machines humming like judgmental ants. There, sprawled in an armchair with a dog-eared copy of Scalia's biography, was Theo, my one tether to sanity. "Alex, you look like you just lost a closing argument to the devil himself." He grinned, patting the seat beside him. Theo was pursuing corporate law, the safe path, with his neatly trimmed beard and plans for a firm in New York. We'd roomed freshman year, and he'd been the first to know about my crushes, offering bro hugs that said more than words. "Worse," I muttered, collapsing next to him. "Jordan Hale just made me sound like a first year in contracts." Theo whistled low, flipping his book shut. "Hale? The guy's a machine. Heard his dad's a federal judge. Talk about nepotism on steroids." I nodded, but it wasn't the legacy that gnawed at me. It was the way Jordan had lingered after his rebuttal, murmuring to Professor Langley about Rivera's potential, like he was putting in a good word. Potential? From the guy who'd called my site creative fiction? We talked for an hour, Theo venting about his internship interviews while I nursed a flat soda, my mind replaying that eye contact. By the time I headed to my dorm in the grad towers, Dusk had painted the streets in gold and shadow. My room was a shoebox, twin bed, desk piled with casebooks, a pride flag thumbtacked above the window like a talisman. I stripped down to boxers, staring at my reflection in the mirror. Lean build from pickup soccer games back home. Dark eyes that Mom said held too many secrets. Secrets like wondering if Jordan's challenges were flirtations in disguise, or if I was just projecting my own isolation. Sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with courtroom gavels and hands brushing in crowded hallways. Morning brought rain, the kind that turned Cambridge into a watercolor blur. I slogged to torts, notebook sodden, only to find Jordan already there, front row, his hair damp and curling at the ends. He didn't glance up as I slid into a seat 2 rows back, but I felt his awareness like static. Professor Ellis droned on about negligence, but my pen scratched half-formed thoughts. Why me? Why does he push when he could coast? Class ended with a pop quiz on foreseeability. Jordan aced it. Of course, his answers crisp as his collars. As we gathered our things, he turned, casual as you please. Rivera, solid effort yesterday. Next time, lead with the precedent. It'll stick the landing. His tone was light, but those eyes again, holding mine with an intensity that made the room tilt. I mumbled a thanks, heat rising in my cheeks, and escaped to the hall, heart hammering. What the hell was that? Patronizing? Or something else? The week blurred into a rhythm of lectures and library marathons, Jordan's presence a constant hum. We'd spar in Socratic grillings, his questions probing deeper than doctrine, like he was mapping my mind. Once, during a group study in the reading room, he slid into the chair across from me, our knees brushing under the table. You ever think about family law? He asked, voice low amid the whispers. I blinked, caught off guard. Nah, too personal. Criminal's where the fight is. He nodded, something flickering in his expression. Regret? Yeah, fight's good. But sometimes it's the quiet cases that break you. I didn't press, but his words lingered, a crack in his perfect facade. That night, over ramen with Mia, she'd transferred from Yale for a policy fellowship. I spilled it all. Mia, with her buzz cut and tattooed wrists quoting Audre Lorde, leaned in, chopsticks paused. Sounds like projection, babe. Or chemistry. You gonna call him on it? I laughed it off, but her words seeded doubt. Chemistry? With Jordan Hale, the guy whose family probably donated wings to museums named after dead white guys? Prejudice wasn't abstract here. It was the undercurrent in every glance, every whispered, affirmative action behind my back. My own family navigated it daily. Dad's construction gigs drying up post-recession. Mom's ESL classes a badge of resilience. They'd accepted my sexuality with quiet grace, hugs over tears, but law school amplified the stakes. Success meant silencing the doubters, including the voice in my head that said I didn't deserve the spot. Friday brought the moot court semifinals, a pressure cooker of egos and index tabs. I was teamed with Sarah, a sharp-witted bi-woman from Texas who'd bonded with me over bad barbecue runs. Jordan captained the opposing side, his partner a bland finance bro named Trent. The auditorium hummed with anticipation, judges in black robes like omens. My opening was tight, weaving equity into constitutional threads, but Jordan's cross-examination hit like a freight train. Counsel, isn't your client's claim just a veiled appeal to sympathy, masking a lack of substantive merit? His voice was velvet over steel, eyes on me, not the bench. I countered, pulse roaring, citing Marbury with a flourish that drew murmurs. But midway, he faltered, a split-second hesitation on a battery precedent, his gaze dropping to his notes. I pounced, redirecting with a question that left him scrambling. For the first time, I saw him sweat, a bead tracing his temple. We won by a hair, the room erupting as Sarah crushed me in a hug. You slayed, Rivera. He approached after, clapping slow as we packed. Well played. You got under my skin. There it was again. That look, laced with admiration, vulnerability peeking through. Dinner to celebrate? Neutral ground. No war stories. My brain short-circuited. Dinner? With him? Sure. Why not? The words tumbled out before sense caught up. We met at a dive bar off Mass Avenue, neon buzzing over sticky tables. Jordan arrived in jeans and a Henley that hugged his shoulders, looking less like a rival and more like someone I could know. Beers arrived, amber and cold, and talk flowed easy. Favorite Supreme Court dramas, worst undergrad hangovers. He confessed his dad's shadow loomed large, expectations like chains. He thinks law's about winning at all costs. Me? I want the why behind the win. His laugh was self-deprecating, blue eyes crinkling. I shared about Chicago, the pride of proving my folks right. Hours slipped by, the bar emptying, until last call nudged us out into the chill. Walking back, shoulders brushing, he stopped under a street lamp. Alex, can I call you that? You're not what I expected. His hand grazed my arm, electric. Good or bad? I teased, heart in my throat. Dangerous, he murmured, stepping closer. Then, like a spell breaking, he pulled back. Night, Rivera. And he was gone, leaving me adrift in the glow, questions multiplying like footnotes. The weekend dragged, a haze of readings and rain-lashed windows. Mia cornered me Sunday brunch at Clover, her fork stabbing Eggs Benedict. Spill. Hale asked you out. I downplayed it, studied drinks, nothing more, but she saw through me, her eyes narrowing. Be careful, Alex. Guys like him, they play for keeps, or they play. Her warning echoed Dad's old stories of boardroom betrayals, the American dream's fine print. Monday's civil procedure was a minefield. Jordan sat diagonal, his posture rigid, avoiding my eyes. When Professor called on him for a FRCP motion, he nailed it, but his glance my way was cool, distant. Had I imagined the bar? The touch? Doubt crept in, sour as black coffee. After class, Trent clapped his back, loud enough for me to hear. Dude, that Rivera's all flash, no substance. Good thing we don't have to carry him. Jordan's jaw tightened, but he said nothing, walking away without a backward glance. It stung, a barb twisting deeper. Was that the real him, complicit in the whispers, the casual erasure? I threw myself into prep for the law review tryouts, poring over journals till my eyes burned. Theo noticed, dragging me to a pickup game at the intramural fields. Shake it off, man. Rivals are rivals. But as I dodged tackles, Jordan's face flashed, vulnerable under the lamp, then stone cold in the hall. Who was the lie? Tryouts came midweek, a gauntlet of memos and orals. I poured everything in, words sharp as scalpels. Jordan was there too, competing for the same spot, his submission a masterclass in brevity. We crossed paths in the submission room, air thick. Good luck, he said, voice neutral. You too. Our fingers brushed passing folders, a spark that made me yank back. He paused, mouth opening, then closed. Gone again. Results posted Friday. I made it. Jordan didn't. The lounge exploded. High fives, texts flying. Sarah bought rounds at the Kong, Harvard's dive of choice. I scanned for him amid the cheers, guilt mingling with triumph. He appeared late, nursing a whiskey neat, congratulating the winners with clipped grace. Our eyes met across the foam of spilled beer, his held pain, raw and unguarded. I wove through the crowd, beer in hand. Hey, tough break. He shrugged, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. Meritocracy, right? You earned it. The words landed heavy, laced with something unspoken. Resentment? Pride? We talked, voices low over the din. He admitted the loss gutted him, a crack in his armor his dad would never forgive. It's not just the spot. It's the proof I'm not enough. Vulnerability poured out, and I listened, seeing the boy beneath the polish. My own fears mirrored his, the pressure to be flawless for a world that questioned my place. As the bar thinned, he leaned in. That night, I meant it. About you being dangerous. His breath was warm, eyes searching, heart pounding, I whispered. Then why the cold shoulder? He winced. Scared. Of this. Of us. The admission hung, electric. But before I could respond, Trent barreled over, slinging an arm around Jordan. Hail. Shots for the loser. Jordan stiffened, pulling away with a forced laugh. Pass. Heading out. He met my gaze one last time. Apology. Longing. Then vanished into the night. I stood there, beer warming in my grip, the what-ifs swirling like smoke. The fallout hit like a subpoena. Rumors flew. Jordan's dad pulling strings for a transfer to Yale, whispers of distractions in his performance review. I saw him once in the library, head down over outlines, isolation a cloak. Guilt gnawed. Had my win tipped him over? Mia urged confrontation. Own your space, Alex. Don't let his mess become yours. But Theo cautioned patience, ever the mediator. I cornered him Thursday after evidence, rain sheeting the windows like tears. Talk. He nodded, and we ended up at the Charles's edge, umbrellas forgotten, coats darkening. Words tumbled, his family's homophobia, a brother disowned years back, my own closets, the fear of loving wrong. I pushed you because you see me, he confessed, voice breaking. Not the name, the potential. And that terrifies me. Tears mixed with rain on his cheeks. I cupped his face, thumbs brushing salt. You matter to me too, Jordan. More than the rivalry. We kissed then, tentative, world blurring to the taste of him, coffee and courage. It wasn't fireworks, but a quiet ignition, promises in the press of lips. But as we pulled apart, his phone buzzed. Dad, demanding answers. The high crashed. I can't, he whispered, backing away. Not yet. Heart fracturing. I watched him go, the river rushing indifferent. Prejudices weren't just external. They lived in us, shadows we chased. But for the first time, I saw a path through, together, maybe. Winter descended, Cambridge cloaked in snow like forgotten arguments. Jordan withdrew, sightings rare as sunbreaks. I threw into law review, edits blurring into advocacy work with the LGBTQ clinic, arguing for trans rights in family court. Mia joined, her fire-fueling mock briefs on conversion therapy bans. This is us fighting back, she'd say, high-fiving over depositions. But Jordan haunted the margins. A note slipped under my door, scrawled. Miss Sparring. Coffee. I waited at Tats, hard a drum, but he ghosted. Days later, an email, family stuff. Yale's calling. Sorry. The words gutted me, a rejection wrapped in regret. I punched the bag in the gym till knuckles split, Theo patching me up with ice and silence. Spring thaw brought revelations. At the GLBTQ Bar Association mixer, held in a loft overlooking the harbor, I spotted him, Jordan, tie loose, laughing with strangers. Our eyes locked. He excused himself, approaching like a truce flag. Alex. One word, loaded. We stepped onto the balcony, city lights winking below. Yale? I asked, voice steady. He nodded, shame etching lines. Dad's ultimatum. Law or me. The air stilled. I'm by, he said, the label landing soft. Hit it forever. You? You wear it like armor. We talked till stars wheeled, his brother's story, a suicide attempt hushed, my mom's quiet allyship, baking tamales for pride potlucks. Misunderstandings unraveled. His distance, fear of dragging me into his storm, my walls, built from past scars. I challenged you to see if you'd break, he admitted. But you didn't. You made me want to be braver. Laughter bubbled then, tentative, as we leaned on the rail. Friendship rekindled, tentative shoots in frozen ground. No grand gestures, just shared silences, hands brushing accidental on purpose. Summer internships split us, me in Chicago with a public defender's office, him clerking at a Boston firm, testing waters. Emails flew, case war stories, bad date rants, mine with a barista who quoted Foucault mid-makeout. By August, video calls stretched late, his face pixelated but real. Come back, I said one night, city hum behind me. Fight with me here. Fall reconvened us, Harvard buzzing anew. No more rivals, partners in clinic briefs, co-authoring a note on queer jurisprudence. Prejudices lingered, Trent's snide asides, a professor's offhand lifestyle slip, but we faced them tandem, Jordan's voice joining mine in pushback. Climax brewed at the winter formal, a glittering affair in the faculty club. Dressed sharp, me in a borrowed tux, him in midnight blue. We danced awkward at first, then fluid, bodies sinking like closing arguments. Whispers followed, but his hand in mine was anchor. Midway, his dad appeared, uninvited, face thunderous. Jordan, a word. We stepped aside, tension crackling. This? The man spat, gesturing at us. Distraction. Weakness. Jordan straightened, eyes steel. Love, Dad. Strength. The confrontation spilled. Years of silence, a disowned sibling's ghost. I stood sentinel, hand on his back. His father stormed out, but Jordan didn't crumble. He turned to me, fierce. Worth it. You're worth it. Healing wasn't linear. Family calls strained, prejudices probed in therapy sessions we attended joint. Friendships deepened. Mia officiating our first anniversary toast. Theo grilling burgers at barbecues. Surprises dotted the path. Jordan coming out to his mom over Thanksgiving, her tentative support blooming into visits. Me, vulnerable in ways law never demanded. Graduation dawned golden, gowns swirling under blue skies. Diplomas in hand. We stood on the steps, future vast. Partners, he asked, ring glinting, simple band, promise etched. In every sense. I replied, sealing it with a kiss, world be damned. Rivalry had forged us, but love refined. In the end, it wasn't about winning. It was claiming space, together, in a world that tried to bench us. And that look? It had always said I mattered, fiercely, irrevocably. The bar's echo faded, but Jordan's confession lingered like smoke in my lungs. Scared of us. Of what? The labels we'd both danced around. Gay, bi, whatever the world slapped on to contain the uncontainable. I trudged back to my dorm, the Charles whispering secrets to the night, my mind replaying his whisper. Dangerous. Me? The guy who'd spent years building walls thicker than case law citations? Sleep evaded, replaced by a montage of moments. His challenges in class, not cruelty, but invitations to sharpen, the brush of knees under tables, accidental sparks I'd dismissed as static. By dawn, resolve hardened. If he was scared, fine, but I wouldn't chase ghosts. Law school demanded focus, and mine sharpened on the horizon. Top of the class, clerkship offers, a life where my queerness was footnote, not headline. But Jordan had other plans. Monday's con law seminar, he arrived late, hair windswept from the tee, sliding into the seat beside me for the first time. Professor Ramirez dove into equal protection, grilling us on Romer versus Evans. My hand shot up first, threading Bowers through Lawrence with a nod to Obergefell. Solid, applauded even. Then Jordan, voice steady. But what about the shadows? Cases like Price Waterhouse, where bias hides in plain sight. His eyes flicked to mine, layered meaning. The class murmured, Ramirez beamed. Excellent synthesis, hail. Rivera, rebut. I did, countering with empirical data on workplace discrimination, but inside, gears turned. Shadows? Was that us? Hiding in plain sight? After class, he lingered, backpack slung low. Walked to lunch. Casual, like we hadn't cracked open Pandora's last week. I nodded, wary. The quad teamed with frisbee games and study clusters. Autumn, leaves crunching underfoot. Talk skirted safe. Upcoming midterms. A brutal hypo on substantive due process. But at the edge of the dining hall, he stopped. About Friday, I panicked. My exit ended ugly. Family found out, blew everything up. The vulnerability hit like a curveball. X. I echoed, pulse quickening. He nodded, rubbing his neck. Yeah, college. He was out, proud. I wasn't ready. Regret shadowed his face, blue eyes stormy. I wanted to press, but the line snaked behind us, impatient undergrads glaring. Later, I said. He smiled, genuine. Library 8. That night, under fluorescent hum and whispering pages, we claimed a corral in the depths. Notebooks open, but words veered personal. His ex, Marcus, a poli-sci major with activist fire, the blow-up when his dad discovered texts, ultimatums flying like indictments. I chose silence. Safety. Jordan's voice cracked. Hate that version of me. I shared Lucas then, the ghosting after family intervention, the ache of being disposable. We armor up, I said. But it weighs. Hours melted, the library emptied. As we packed, his hand covered mine on the zipper. I don't want to ghost you, Alex. But I'm figuring it out. Warmth spread, tentative bridge. Figuring together? I asked. He squeezed, eyes holding. Yeah. The rhythm shifted after that. Study dates masked as sessions, coffee runs laced with flirtation. He'd challenge my briefs with that half-smile, but follow with praise that landed soft. I caught myself scanning for him in crowds, heart lifting at his wave. Mia noticed, cornering me post-yoga. Hail? Spill. Over smoothies, I confessed the pull, the fear. He's privileged as hell, I said. What if it's a phase? She snorted. Phases don't look at you like your oxygen. But vet him. Queer spaces have vipers too. Her caution echoed in group hangs. Theo invited us to trivia night at the Grafton, Harvard's faux Irish pub. Jordan fits seamless, bantering constitutional trivia with Theo, charming Sarah with quips on tort reform. But under the table, his foot nudged mine, deliberate. Later, walking back, snow flurrying early, he stole a glove off my hand, lacing fingers. Cold, I teased. Just excuses. The kiss was inevitable, under a lamppost, soft and searching, tasting of stout and possibility. Bliss was brief. Midterms loomed, a blizzard of hypoge and hornbooks. Jordan vanished into his schedule, text sparse. Worry brewed. Was it the ex's echo, or something new? Then, a clinic assignment paired us. Pro bono for a trans teen's custody battle, navigating bigoted courts. Prep sessions intensified, empathy forging deeper bonds. This kid's fight. It's ours, he said one night, files strewn across my floor. I nodded, throat tight. Yeah, no armor here. The hearing was a war zone. Judge skeptical, opposing counsel slinging lifestyle barbs. Jordan led direct, voice unwavering. I closed, weaving statutes into humanity. We won. The mom's tears are metal. Outside, hugging the family, he pulled me aside. We make a team. His kiss then was fierce, celebratory, against the courthouse stone. But shadows lengthened. His phone buzzed constant. Dad, firm offers, pressure mounting. One night, post-win dinner at Myers and Chong, he went quiet over dumplings. Yale interview next week. Dad's pushing. My fork stilled. And you? He evaded. It's complicated. The meal soured. I left early, cab ride home a blur of what-ifs. Distance grew, texts icing over. Mia staged intervention at brunch. Confront or cut. Theo mediated a coffee truce, but Jordan arrived hollow-eyed. It's not you. Family dinner tomorrow, big one. I pressed, talk to me. He did, halting. Brother's birthday, the disowned one, ghosts at the table. I can't rock it. Not now. I swallowed hurt. Then when? Silence stretched. I don't know. The goodbye was chaste, cheek peck. Days blurred. I dove into work, avoiding his haul. Law Review published my note on queer rights, a small victory. He emailed congrats, but no meetup. Spring break hit, Chicago calling. Mom's kitchen enveloped me. Tortillas steaming, Dad's stories of union fights. Love's a risk, Mijo, he said over chess. But hiding? That's the real loss. Back in Boston, resolve steeled. I texted coffee? Neutral. He showed. Cafe corner, spring sun gilding us. Missed this, I said. He nodded, pen twisting. Me too. Yale's tempting. Escape the pressure. Heart sank. From what? Us. He flinched. No. Everything. Confession spilled. Dad's homophobia. A closet reinforced yearly. I want out. With you. But fear chained him. We parted ambiguous. Summer internships looming. Mine Chicago PD's, his Boston boutique. Emails bridged, vulnerable threads. Thinking of you in depositions, he'd write. Your voice in my head. Calls late. Laughter healing cracks. Fall returned, us renewed. But conflict brewed. A joint presentation on ethics. Trent sabotaging slides with jokes on diversity hires. Jordan called him out. Public, alliance clear. Whispers followed. Hails gone soft. But he stood firm, hand finding mine in the green room. Climax crested at the bar mixer. Dad's shadow looming via call. Choose. The voice boomed on speaker. Jordan met my eyes. I choose me. Us. Click. Silence, then embrace. Prejudices cracked, not shattered. Work ahead. But in that moment, freedom tasted sweet. Graduation sealed it. Vows whispered under confetti. Rivals to lovers, we'd rewritten the brief. Yale hung like a guillotine, but Jordan's hand in mine that spring afternoon felt like reprieve. We wandered the esplanade, cherry blossoms shedding pink confetti, the city skyline a distant jury waiting verdict. Tell me you'll stay, I said, voice barely above the river's murmur. He stopped, turning me to face him, thumbs tracing my knuckles. For you? I'd fight the entire Supreme Court. Laughter bubbled, easing the knot in my chest, but doubt lingered. Families like his didn't yield easy. Back in the grind, our partnership bloomed subtle. Shared carols, coded notes in margins. Your logic slays, J. The GLBTQ alliance became sanctuary. Meetings in the basement lounge where rainbows draped walls and stories swapped like contraband. Mia chaired, her gavel a rainbow flag pin. Theo crashed as ally, baking hetero-guilt brownies. Jordan's first meeting, he fidgeted, out of his element amid chants and zines. Queer Theory 101. I whispered, squeezing his knee under the table. He relaxed, contributing on Title IX gaps, earning nods. After, over falafel at Shalom, he exhaled. That felt right. Exposed, but right. Exposure bred growth. He came out to Theo over beers, by figuring the ally part, Theo's bro hug epic. Sarah grilled him on intersectionality, her Texan drawl softening questions. But family loomed, a specter at every milestone. His mom's call midweek. Your father's asking about Yale. Push it, Jordan. Static, then click. He slammed his phone, pacing my room. She knows. About us. Hates it. I pulled him down, arm's anchor. Then we show them. Vulnerability cracked him open. Childhood tales of a stern dad. Golf weekends dissecting verdicts. A brother lost to silence. I won't be that, he vowed. We planned. Invite mom to campus, neutral ground. The visit was a tightrope. She arrived crisp, pearls and pantsuit, eyes scanning dorms like evidence. Lunch at the coop, sandwiches polite. Alex seems driven, she said, appraising. Jordan bridged, he is. Like you taught me, merit over name. Thaw came slow, her stories of clerking in the 80s, barriers broken. By coffee, questions turned personal. Are you happy, son? His hand found mine under table. Happier than I've been. She didn't pull away, but lunch ended strained, her hug to me stiff. After, he crashed, head on my lap. Progress? I asked, fingers in his hair. Micro, but seeds planted. Summer split us physical, hearts tethered by calls. Chicago's heat wave mirrored my caseload. Juvenile defenders, kids like mini MES, queered and cornered by systems. One boy, Jamal, 14 and trans, his mom's fight echoing ours. They say I'm confused, he muttered. I shared Jordan's stories, anonymized. Someone taught me confusion's just the map to clarity. Letters flew to Jordan, his replies vivid. Firm drudgery, but late swims in the harbor, dreaming of us. Reunion hit electric. Airport hug, his sent home. Fall semester ramped. Joint electives on Fed courts. But conflict simmered. Law review elections, spots scarce. Jordan-eyed editor-in-chief. I, managing. Nominations pitted us gentle, but Trent stirred. Anonymous email chain. Hale's sympathy vote. Diversity, Darling Rivera pulling strings. Poison spread, doubts festering. We confronted collective. Alliance meeting turned tribunal. Mia moderated, fire in her eyes. Call it out. Jordan did, voice steel. This isn't debate, it's erasure. I backed, citing patterns, Trent's history of microaggressions. Backlash hit. Exclusion from study groups, cold shoulders in halls. Isolation bonded us tighter, nights in, debating over takeout, his head on my shoulder. Surprise dropped midterms. Jordan's brother, Ethan, emailed. Heard you're out. Proud. Can we talk? Ghost from exile, living in Seattle, quiet life post-disown. Call connected them tearful, years mending in pixels. Dad broke us, Ethan said. Don't let him. Jordan hung changed, fierce, no more hiding. Emboldened, he invited Dad to the family law symposium, our panel on queer parenting. Venue packed, lights hot. Dad arrived late, back row, face granite. Jordan opened, citing cases with heart. I followed, personal woven in. Q&A turned, a prof probed biases. Jordan met Dad's eyes across room. Prejudice isn't abstract. It's families like mine, choosing legacy over love. Silence, then applause. Dad left mid-clap, but lingered outside. Bold, he grunted. Reckless. Jordan held ground. Real. Handshake, no more, but fracture. Afterglow short. Trent's escalation, leaked memo mocking our alliance agenda. Scandal brewed, Dean summoning. We prepped defense, united. Hearing stark, but our briefs shown. Evidence of pattern, calls for equity. Dean ruled. Reprimand, training. Victory bittersweet. Trent transferred, whispers died. Spring bloomed fuller, us navigating. Mia's wedding, to her girlfriend, a poet. Us best men, toasts teary. To rivals who rewrite rules, I said, Jordan's wink across vows. Climax crested unexpected. Dad's heart attack, mid-yell push. Jordan flew home, me trailing days later. Hospital vigil tense, Mom's hand in mine surprising. Dad woke, weak, saw your panel. Tape. Gruff, but eyes soft. Don't repeat my mistakes. Forgiveness tentative, but real. Dinners post, questions probing. Grad loomed, offers piling. Me ACLU, Jordan DOJ. Vows planned quiet. Rings engraved, challenge accepted. Weed turned rivalry to revolution, love the verdict. Dad's convalescence stretched summer, Jordan shuttling Connecticut weekends, me Chicago anchoring. Calls bridged. He's asking about you. He'd say, wonder-lacing voice. Progress piecemeal, shared recipes from Mom, a golf invite dodged with clinic excuses. But roots shifted. The man who'd built walls cracked them, peeking through. Back at Harvard, final stretch loomed. Bar prep specter, job hunts frantic. Our rhythm held. Morning runs along the river, breaths sinking. Evenings in, outlining with wine. But tension brewed subtle. My ACLU offered demanded DC move, his Doge DC too, but branches diverged. Long distance. I joked over tie. He paused, fork midway. Or together. The proposal slipped casual. Roommates? Partners? Heart soared, yes tumbling easy. Alliance thrived, us co-chairs now, hosting panels on by erasure. Jordan shone, stories raw. Mia's pride evident. You too? Blueprint. Theo proposed. Ring to his girlfriend mid-barbecue. Joy contagious. Fall foliage peaked, but storm gathered. Trent's return, uninvited to a mixer. Venom slurred over punch. Fags running the show now. Slur landed, room freezing. Jordan stepped forward, calm. Leave. Or we call security. Trent lunged, fist cocked. I blocked, scuffle brief, bouncers hauling. Aftermath. Bruises minor, but report filed, hearing pending. Dean reconvened, us witnesses. Trent's defense, joke gone wrong. But pattern cited, emails, witnesses. Ruling, suspension. Catharsis washed, but scars itched, prejudices persistence. Healing came layered. Therapy joint, unpacking closets. My immigrant guilt, his privilege shame. We're enough, therapist echoed. Dates intentional. Picnics in the arboretum, sketches of futures. Surprise holiday. Jordan's mom hosted Christmas, Dad included, tentative. Tree twinkled, tamales my contribution. Talk veered deep. Ethan Skyped, family fractured mending. Dad pulled Jordan aside. Whispers, nod. Later, to me, take care of him. Gruff benediction. New Year dawned resolutions. Out fully, no half measures. Jordan's firm came out memo. Proudly by. Ripples, support mostly, one partner's sneer. We stood, hands clasped. Spring ethics seminar, prof challenged. Can advocates separate personal from professional? Jordan rebutted. Bias unchecked harms all. Embrace it, refine. Applause, my pride swelled. Bar prep bunker, all-nighters, flashcards flying. Mia crashed, study group lifeline. Jordan's notes color-coded, my mnemonics silly. Breaks, kisses stolen, tension release. Grad week frenzy, theses defended, parties blurred. Ceremony day, sun brilliant, families packed. Diplomas gripped, we posed. His arm around me, Dad's camera click. Reception toast, to challenges met, loves claimed. Post-grad haze, DC move, apartment hunt. Boxes packed dreams. First night, city lights view, rings exchanged quiet. My rival, he murmured. My matter, I replied. Life unfolded. Cases won, losses mourned. Prejudices persisted, courtroom biases, street stares, but together, unbowed. Friendship's circle expanded, alliances forged. Love, once questioned, now anchor. Years on, looking back, that first gavel, not end, but opening argument. We'd won the case, of us. DC's humidity clung like verdicts, but our walk-up in DuPont Circle felt like victory. Exposed brick, pride flags neighbors, rooftop view of monuments promising justice. Unpacking blurred days. Casebooks shelved beside coffee mugs. Jordan's vinyl spinning jazz while I cooked pozole. since mingling memory. First week, ACLU orientation, mission walls emblazoned equal justice, colleagues queer tapestry. Jordan's DOJ swearing in, suit crisp, oath solemn, is wink across badge my talisman. Rhythms synced uneasy at first, my 9 to 5's erratic, his structured. Evenings collided, debriefs over bourbon, laughter dissecting rulings. But friction sparked, a late filing for me, his frustration bubbling. You're burning out, he'd say, massage turning argument. This is the fight, I'd counter, pulling away. Night ended cold, bed vast. Mediation came natural, brunch with Mia, now DC policy wonk. Power couples clash, she grinned, mimosas fizzing. Talk it. We did, kitchen table confessional. My fear of inadequacy, his of losing control. Team, we vowed, sealing with breakfast in bed. Work wove personal, joint amicus on marriage equality remnants. Our brief cited nationwide. Colleagues noted synergy. Rivera Hale, unstoppable. But prejudice pierced. A judge's sidebar on alternative families, eyes lingering judgmental. Jordan's rebuttal fierce, my pride, fire. Fall brought Ethan's visit, Seattle transplant interviewing firms. Dinner at our place, brothers reconciling over ribs. You look happy, Ethan said, clinking glasses. He makes me, Jordan replied, hand on mine. Dad called midway, voice warmer. Proud, son. Both of you. Holidays homeward. Chicago for me, Connecticut Bridge. Mom's feast enveloped, Dad's chess rematch yielding to stories. Found your match, he nodded. Jordan sighed, tree trimming thawed to toasts. Mom's embrace full now. Winter case load peaked. My trans asylum win, client's tears cathartic. Jordan's antitrust, but pro bono hours on by visibility. Collaboration bloomed. Guest lectures, panels drawing crowds. Spring surprise, promotion whispers. Mine, senior counsel, his, trial lead. Celebration at Founding Farmers, champagne bubbling. But shadow, Trent sighting. Now Hill staffer, lobby glare at event. Past haunts, Jordan muttered. We laughed it off, but vigilance returned. Summer heat wave, getaway to Provincetown. Beaches, bike rides, hands linked unashamed. Remember first kiss? He asked, waves lapping. Rain-soaked truce. Laughter, then serious. Marry me proper? Ring upgrade, sapphire promise. Yes, again. Fall wedding planning. Small, meaningful. Mia officiant, Theo best man, Ethan groomsman. Venue, Boston Library, books witnesses. Vows raw. You challenged my heart. I claim it. Rings exchanged, kiss sealing. Honeymoon Cape Cod, dunes whispering futures. Kids maybe, via surrogacy, home with yard. Back, life accelerated. Cases landmark, media spots. Conflict crested year 2. Jordan's big trial, weeks away, stress fracturing sleep. My case overlap, arguments flaring. Priorities, he snapped one night. Silence heavy. Mia mediated hike. Roots entwine, storms pass. Reconciliation tender, therapy resuming. Anniversary surprise. His, weekend getaway. Mine, adoption seminar. Dreams solidified. Prejudices evolved, subtler, systemic. A client's discrimination suit, echoes of us. Victory hard won, but affirming. 5 years on, looking back. Law school hook, that gaze. Destiny's brief. We'd argued, amended, prevailed. Love's docket, endless, but ours, forever. The wedding's afterglow lingered into autumn. DC's leaves turning like pages in a well-loved brief. Our apartment, once boxes chaos, now home, photos framed. Harvard quad, courthouse steps, Ethan's grin. Work steadied. My ACLU team expanded, tackling voting rights for queer communities. Jordan's DOJ unit, antitrust with equity lens. Commutes synced, metro rides hand in hand. Small rebellions against rush hour anonymity. But marriage's honeymoon phase waned, realities intruding. My travel spiked, fieldwork in swing states, hotel nights blurring into exhaustion. Jordan's trials demanded focus, late calls fraying nerves. One evening, I stumbled in at midnight, takeout cold. He waited, arms crossed. We need this, he said, gesturing dinner. Guilt twisted. Case blew up, Gerrymandering map. Trans voters erased. Understanding dawned, but hurt lingered. Bed that night. Backs turned. Silence louder than arguments. Morning mending. Coffee strong. Apologies soft. Miss us, he admitted. We recommitted. Date nights enforced. No work talk Tuesdays. Therapy check-ins. Unpacking load. My overcommit. His control lean. Balance. We charted. Calendars color-coded. Friends anchored. Mia's policy launch party. Her speech firebrand. Theo's visit. Now NYC dad. Baby coups melting us. Your turn, he teased. Conversation planted seeds. Surrogacy research. Late-night scrolls on open adoptions. Winter brought Ethan's engagement. Seattle wedding invite. We flew west. Rainforest's lush contrast to DC concrete. Ceremony beachside. Vows echoing ours. Brother's joy. Healing full. Dad danced. Surprising. Mom's nudge. Families grow, he said to me. Rare warmth. Spring case synergy. Joint effort on federal by protections. Brief co-drafted nights. Submission day. Champagne pop. Acceptance news. Team cheers. Media hit. NPR spot. Our voices intertwined. But tension simmered domestic. Home hunt. Yard dreams clashing budgets. Suburbs. I balked. City pulse vital. Space for kids, he countered. Compromise brewed. Arlington row house. Metro close. Closing day. Keys jangling promise. Summer move sweat equity. Painting walls sage. Furniture Tetris. Housewarming bash. Mia grilling. Theo's family. Ethan's toasting. Laughter-filled rooms. Future tangible. Fall promotion duel. Me director. Jordan section chief. Speeches overlap themes. Justice inclusive. Celebration gala. Suits sharp. Dance floor hours. Surprise October. Pregnancy announcement. Surrogate match. Our embryo. News stunned joyful. Ultrasound sacred. Kicks flutters of wonder. Dad. Jordan whispered. Hand on belly cam. Fears surfaced. Parenting queer. World's gaze. But excitement trumped. Winter holidays expanded. Chicago, Connecticut loop. Bellies round in spirit. Mom's nursery knit. Dad's tool set gift. Strong roots, he grunted. Spring birth loomed. Prep frantic. Classes. Wills. Nursery murals. Delivery day chaos. Hospital vigil. Cries shattering silence. Baby girl. Elena. Eyes blue-brown mix. Our miracle. Nights blurred feeds. Diapers. Days. Juggle work leaves. Parenthood reshaped. My briefs from home office. Jordan's virtual closings. Alliance playdates. Queer parent circles sanctuary. Prejudices peaked. Stares at park. Two dads. Whispers. But Elena's gummy smile disarmed. Year on. Toddler steps. First words mama did I mash. Cases continued, but balance held. Nannies. Family help. Mia godmother. Theo uncle extraordinaire. Conflict minor. Sleep deprivation snips, but laughter leavened. Therapy tuned. Evolving partnership. Anniversaries stacked. 5 years, Vax records and Valentines. 10, decade dance. Elena Flower Girl Redux. Reflections often. Law school gaze. That matching look? Spark to inferno. Rivals forged. Love tempered. Family built. Challenges came. Health scares. Policy shifts. But we briefed. Argued. Prevailed. Legacy? Elena's world. Kinder for our fights. And in quiet moments, his eyes still say, you matter. Always.